The terrifying roar of the wild boar herd echoed through the air, threatening to consume the peaceful atmosphere of Cedar Creek Village. The boars had snuck into the fields, trampling over newly sprouted potato crops. A year's worth of hard work from the villagers was gone in a single night. Unable to stand by and do nothing, we set out again. On the bed of an old pickup truck were rifles, scopes, and the loyal four-legged companions that would accompany us on this mission. The heaviest thing we carried wasn't the weapons, but the hopes of the entire village. This journey was more than a simple hunt. It was a rescue mission to save the crops, the peace, and the livelihood of the kind-hearted people of Cedar Creek. We traveled for nearly an hour, entering the area where the beasts often hid. After a brief discussion of tactics, the team split up to take cover at a bend in the trail, a hotspot where the wild boars frequently passed every evening. From a distance, a massive dark shadow dashed across the path. I immediately tightened my grip on the rifle, chambered around, slowed my breathing, and tensed my body like a drawn bowstring. In a decisive moment, I pulled the trigger. The shot rang out, dead on target. The boar collapsed instantly, the perfect start to the hunt. The first threat had been neutralized. The hounds, which had been traveling with us, were now ready for action. We released the leashes, and the dogs raced ahead. It wasn't long before their barks echoed, signaling they had picked up the scent. The boar was driven out of the dense forest and forced towards our waiting position. At the ambush point, my uncle, a skilled marksman known throughout the region, had chosen an ideal spot. As soon as the monstrous boar burst from the underbrush, he didn't hesitate for even a second. A sharp gunshot rang out. The bullet flew straight, clean, and absolutely precise. The boar dropped instantly. My uncle's expertise, experience, and sharp eyes turned that moment into a perfect kill. Swift, efficient, and powerful. The wild boar herd stuck to its usual path, and that rare opening was something the team could exploit. Hiding in the shade of the trees, I kept a sharp eye on every movement. In a flash, the entire herd rushed past. We didn't give them a chance to escape. A sharp shot rang out, sending the herd scattering in all directions. In the chaos, one boar was hit and collapsed right on the trail. But the incredible speed of the others meant we couldn't control all of them. That moment became a quiet reminder. Our skills and tactics needed more sharpening if we were to master the hunt in the future. A few boars managed to escape the first barrage of shots, scrambling toward the trail in a frantic search for cover. But under the watchful eye of the drone, their every move was laid bare. We quickly repositioned to the ambush point, determined not to let any of them bring fear and chaos to the village. I took the lead, my rifle trained on the spot where the boar would emerge. As soon as it showed itself, I squeezed the trigger decisively. The bullet flew true, and the boar fell immediately. Did you see that shot? That's the moment when skill, focus, and experience converge, turning each pull of the trigger into a declaration of accuracy and power. The sound of gunfire shattered the silence of the mountains, forcing the remaining boars to flee in panic. As the team moved to another location, several noises caught our attention. Using our experience and the sound of the hounds barking, I set up an ambush and waited for the boar to charge. As expected, it raced across the trail. Without hesitation, I raised my rifle, aimed, and fired. The bullet struck its flank, and the boar fell with a fatal shot. After a long afternoon, the bed of our Range Rover was filled with the spoils of the hunt. What we brought back was not just the game, but also peace for the villagers and their untouched crops. As we began packing up our weapons and equipment, preparing to return, a final target appeared out of nowhere. In an instant, several shots rang out, trying to stop the boar in its tracks. The barrage of fire was like releasing years of frustration with these vicious beasts. The area had been saved from destruction in the nick of time. Thus, the wild boar hunt in the southern forests of the United States became not only a test of physical endurance, but also a journey into the rich culture of hunting. I was deeply impressed by the courage, perseverance, and expertise of these hunters, people who have been part of this legacy for generations. This experience helped me understand the profound connection between humans and the wild, where every hunt is a lesson in patience, skill, and respect for life.
qui est au-dessus.
The village fields were ripped apart, as if a storm had just passed through. But it wasn't nature's fury, it was the work of a large herd of wild boars, led by a massive and fiercely aggressive pair of dominant males. They came under cover of midnight, tearing through crops and trampling plants within hours. The villagers dared not step outside. We were ordered out, armed, equipped with traps, and on high alert. The forest was dark and ominous, alive with strange sounds. We knew well, facing a whole herd was a different beast. One wrong move could cost the team their lives. Join us as we track them in this high-stakes mission. Wild boars are destructive, yet they follow familiar trails between feeding grounds and hiding spots, a habit that can also lead to their downfall. I gave the signal. John nodded. A volley of shots rang out almost simultaneously, sharp and deliberate, meant to warn and drive the herd back. Startled, the boars scattered, breaking formation and fleeing into the woods. Without hesitation, we launched into a relentless chase, determined not to leave any target behind. We understood. If we didn't act now, the damage would be far worse than a few trampled fields. We split up by territory, depending on who knew the land best. Alone, I went deeper, gun loaded and ready, every step careful. Footprints and dug earth told me the boars were close. A rustle in the bushes. Then a dark shape burst out. I raised my weapon without hesitation and squeezed the trigger. The boar dropped on the spot. One shot was all it took. Solo hunting leaves no room for mistakes. Everything happened in a split second. It's either you or the beasts that come out on top. If you think this move was cool, drop a like. After a brief break, the team regrouped and pushed deeper into the forest, visibility shrinking under the thick canopy. Suddenly, a lone wild boar wandered into view, staggering, unaware of the hunters nearby. I lowered myself quietly and fired as soon as the signal came. The first bullet hit, startling the animal. It roared and tried to flee, but but John was already there, blocking its path and quickly taking it down. Every move was precise, no room for error. The true skill of a hunter isn't raw power, it's calm under pressure and flawless teamwork in the most dangerous moments. After hours of ambush, just as the team settled for a moment, I sensed movement near the forest edge. The boars charged in full force. I gripped my rifle tight, aimed, eyes locked on the leaders. I fired repeatedly, hitting several. Some faltered, then fled, while the rest scattered deep into the woods. Each shot was a clear warning. Though not all were downed, the destructive herd was pushed back. The barrel barely cooled when I spotted fresh tracks left by the alpha on the leaf litter. After a long day of tracking, the moment of truth had arrived. I chose a high vantage point, ready to intercept. It peeked from behind the brush. No hesitation, I raised my rifle and squeezed the trigger. The bullet sliced through the air, ending it cleanly. The massive beast collapsed, no chance to struggle. Success requires more than skill. It demands preparation, perfect timing, and an unshakable spirit. As the afternoon waned, just when we thought the ambush was over, I spotted movement near our hideout. The hunting dogs barked loudly, guiding the fierce silhouette straight toward me, breath held, waiting for the right moment. I squeezed the trigger. Bang! Quick and decisive, the wild beast crashed down, ending the chase. The dogs rushed forward, securing the area and confirming no signs of the marauding herd remained. Remember, if you're not a professional hunter, never confront these animals alone. They can turn the tables and become your hunters. Wild boars in the brush, a life or death race with the elusive enemy. I returned to my uncle's home in rural Brazil for the weekend, but the scene before me left me speechless. The vast cornfields were torn apart, the earth cracked open like the mark of enormous claws. My uncle warily described how the wild boars had been destroying property and livelihoods for days. They had instilled fear in many households in the village. Sensing his worry and despair, I decided to join the hunting team and immediately plan our strategy. This wasn't just a hunt, it was a battle to protect the homeland. Let's begin the journey now. Under the scorching sun, we arrived at the edge of the dense forest, a known hideout for the cunning wild boars. Every step we took was measured, and our sharp eyes missed no movement. The hunting dogs were released, and within minutes, the familiar scent of wild boar had them barking fiercely. The atmosphere suddenly grew tense, with each second stretching into eternity. There it was. A whisper echoed. The silhouette of the wild boar appeared through the thick foliage. Without hesitation, the shot was fired, and the beast dropped instantly. While it wasn't the largest, it was a quick, clean, and decisive takedown, marking a hopeful start to the battle to restore peace to the homeland. We pressed deeper, searching for more signs. Suddenly, the hunting dogs barked again, this time louder and more aggressive than ever. Weaving through the thick branches, it took me 5 minutes to finally get close to where the wild boar was trapped. I carefully aimed for the vulnerable spot, focusing intensely, sweat dripping down my face. My finger squeezed the trigger quickly, decisively. With a beast this large, landing a close-range shot was not difficult. It was executed in the blink of an eye. The terrain here is incredibly tough, making movement exhausting, which is why the farmers have been unable to reach this area. The wild boars are incredibly clever for choosing such a treacherous place to hide. But today, their safety is no longer guaranteed. We took full advantage of the seamless coordination between our experienced marksmen and the skilled hunting dogs to take complete control of this land, gradually tightening the noose, leaving them no chance to escape. After a long journey, we took a brief rest, but we remained on high alert, knowing that the wild boars here could appear at any moment. While we were still observing, the hunting dogs quickly completed their task and signaled to us. Oh, it was fierce and clearly looking for a way to escape. But Kevin's rifle didn't allow that to happen. What an excellent shot, flawless in every way. We were lucky to take down this sow. If we hadn't, within a week, dozens more would have come to wreak havoc in this area. The atmosphere now was eerily silent, but this was no time for us to relax, because at this very moment, a wild boar could be right next to us without us even knowing. Every step had to be taken with utmost caution. OMG! The wild boar suddenly charged at my hunting dog. Immediately, gunshots rang out, halting its attack before it could go any further. With the experience gained from many hunts, I moved towards an area I suspected to be ideal for spotting the target. And sure enough, not long after, the prey appeared. Without hesitation, I took aim. Everything went smoothly, and once again, we had another trophy for today's hunt. Today's hunting journey ends here. Did this trip excite you? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to catch more thrilling hunts ahead. The endless fields may seem calm, but all it takes is one wild hog charging through to throw everything into chaos. Armed with brute strength and cunning instincts, these beasts can tear through anything in their path. That's why seasoned hunters never let their guard down. One slight movement could mean the prey is right in front of you or already gone, leaving behind only stunned eyes staring into the distance. So, what are you waiting for? Get ready for some heart-pounding, unforgettable hunting moments. Early in the morning, John's hunting vehicle sped down the road heading toward the Queensland fields. As soon as they arrived, hurried footsteps set off the chase to track the wild animals. Every tense gaze scanned the surroundings, leaving no spot unchecked. Wait, there seemed to be a noise ahead. John raised his modern binoculars, spotting a dark figure hiding among the tall grass. In a ready stance, the precise trigger pull came the moment the animal slipped into John's sight. The beast fell instantly, a powerful shot marking a strong start to today's battle. Moving on to the neighboring field to hunt for more targets, the team quickly set up a tight perimeter. After just a few minutes of waiting, a herd of wild boars appeared across the field. This was the golden moment. John immediately squeezed the trigger, the bullet hitting its mark. The lone boar fell, and the rest panicked and scattered. Moments later, the echoing shot signaled that the fleeing threat had been dealt with. A successful move to stop those sharp claws from continuing their destruction here. At another location, Jay spotted a pack of wild hogs casually moving through the field. Without a moment's hesitation, he fired a powerful shot. The lead hog collapsed instantly. Follow-up shots quickly stopped the rest in their tracks. A flawless sweep that left no one behind, successfully protecting the field. As the sun climbed higher, John's team decided to switch up their tactics and hunting grounds. They moved deeper into the thick brush surrounding the fields, determined to better protect the peace of Queensland's farmlands. Just as the hounds let out a sharp bark, the massive silhouette of a wild hog tore across their path. In a matter of seconds, John locked in, raised his rifle, and squeezed the trigger. One shot was all it took to bring down the ferocious beast. At the edge of the field, Jay held his rifle steady, eyes locked on every movement, making sure nothing escaped his watch. Seconds later, a wild hog burst out of the brush. With no wasted motion, Jay pulled the trigger on instinct. Fast, clean, decisive. The beast dropped instantly. No matter how fast it ran, it never stood a chance against the barrel already waiting for it. At the same time, John kept moving, tracking the remaining signs. After a while, he paused, his eyes still sweeping the area. There, a large herd of wild boars had gathered. He raised his gun, and shots rang out in rapid succession. Another swift sweep was carried out in seconds, and soon, only fallen bodies remained. The long day has come to an end, trophies in hand, but the echoes of gunfire still ringing in the mind. The wild boars may return, but today, no one can deny that the hunters are the victors. The victory is for protecting the crops and bringing peace to the people. The first rays of sunlight slowly spread over the fields at the foot of the hills, where the tracks of wild boars are etched deep and clear. Whether by night or day, these creatures don't just ravage the crops they've grown boldly, frequently venturing close to residential areas, stirring anxiety among the locals and their livestock. Seeing the situation worsen, Daniel's team has set out with modern weaponry and unwavering resolve to restore peace to this land. But will these shadows of the wilderness be easy to tame? Join us on this relentless hunt and find out. The team moved silently along the rugged trail, steadily climbing toward the hillside known to be a stronghold for fierce wild boar packs. Just as they reached the high ground, a sudden noise shattered the silence. A beast thundered down the slope at terrifying speed, as if the hunters had become the hunting. But Daniel stood firm. He raised his rifle, took careful aim, and bang! The shot echoed through the mountains. The beast lost its footing, tumbling down the hill before collapsing into the thick brush below. Seconds later, a sharp volley of gunfire cracked through the air. Behind Daniel, his teammate had spotted another target charging down from the northern slope. This one was crafty, weaving swiftly through the thick brush, desperate to escape. But how could it outrun the cold barrel of a seasoned hunter? When the final shot rang out, the massive boar collapsed, its last hope of escape shattered. Suddenly, the sharp barking of dogs erupted ahead, a clear warning that trouble was near. The whole team surged forward, the bushes shaking violently as if about to burst. Daniel swiftly raised his rifle, eyes locked onto the trembling canopy. In the blink of an eye, a dark shadow dashed out. Unfazed, as if this were old hat, Daniel calmly swung his gun and squeezed the trigger. Bang! The deadly bullet hit its mark, the beast skidding before finally collapsing. After clearing the hillside area, the team decided to press on, driving their vehicle toward the vast grassland ahead. Before long, a lone prey came into view. The team immediately accelerated, closing in fast. Daniel raised his rifle and took aim from a distance. Bang! The first shot hit its leg. Daniel's face hardened. Calmly, he raised his gun and fired the final shot. Bang! It was over. The team climbed down from the vehicle and moved deeper into the wilderness. Look, there, a massive beast suddenly came into clear view, right within shooting range. Bang! The bullet tore through the air, striking the prey's flank. And the outcome was inevitable. Nothing can escape the barrel of a rifle wielded by hunters forged through relentless training. As the sky faded into the last streaks of sunset, the team began packing up their gear to head back. The walk back to the vehicle seemed calm until a teammate suddenly signaled for silence. Everyone froze instantly. A prey appeared, its head raised high, alert and cautious. But that hesitation proved to be a fatal mistake. Bang! The shot rang out, hitting a vital spot. The beast let out a few desperate cries before collapsing, completely powerless. Fast, clean, precise. That's the hallmark of seasoned hunters and the perfect seal on a successful expedition. Today's hunt with Daniel's team came to a close with clear results. Every fierce prey was taken down one by one, restoring peace to this land. Each shot not only showcased skill, but also the seamless teamwork of seasoned hunters. Of course, everything was carried out fully in compliance with local laws. A heartfelt thank you goes to the local community and authorities for their enthusiastic support, which helped us complete this hunting mission successfully. For 3 consecutive nights, the eerie shrieks echoed from the deep forest. The wild boar herd had come dangerously close to the village, tearing down the chicken coop and trampling over my mother's vegetable garden. Patience had reached its limit. As the first light of dawn broke, we made up our minds to take justice into our own hands. Would we return safely from this dangerous mission? Watch until the end to find out. We quickly discussed our strategy beside the pickup truck. Bright orange clothes to avoid friendly fire, specialized boots for a firm grip on the rugged terrain, and our trained hunting dogs eager for the hunt, all waiting for the signal. The rifles were fully loaded. This wasn't a leisurely stroll. It was a mission. As we ventured deeper into the forest, the air became heavy and silent, hiding countless dangers. We moved in a single line, maintaining a safe distance to ensure both safety and mutual support via radio. When we found the first sign, freshly dug earth, we quickly switched to alert mode. The dogs were released, darting into the dense bushes, pushing the boars toward the trap we had set. I moved toward the barking dogs. Suddenly, a dark figure flashed through the leaves ahead. There it was! I held my breath, slowly raising my rifle. As the boar came into full view, I squeezed the trigger decisively. Boom! The boar staggered a few steps and collapsed. A perfect way to start today's hunt. The sky faded into the last streaks of sunset. By midday, the sun blazed through the canopy. According to the plan, I remained in a fixed position at a strategic post. Sweat streamed down my face, but my mind was laser-focused, ready to fire at any moment. Suddenly, the crunch of footsteps on dry leaves grew closer and louder. I immediately got into position, eyes locked on the forest ahead. A massive wild boar rushed through my line of sight. I tracked it with the rifle, calculating speed and distance, then fired. The bullet struck the target with precision. Almost simultaneously, gunshots from other posts echoed. Each shot was another threat eliminated from the village. At the next ambush point, another fierce boar was flushed out by the dogs. Its massive size made my heart race faster than usual. The giant boar, hit by the bullet, wildly turned and charged straight toward me. The threat of death was close, but I yanked the trigger again, stopping its charge just a few feet away from me. That was incredibly close. My heart was pounding uncontrollably. Although I didn't manage to bring down the giant boar, I felt a huge sense of relief that I was still safe. If I hadn't fired in time, I shuddered to think of what might have happened. The afternoon sun had softened. After that close call, I became even more cautious. When another wild boar appeared, I stayed perfectly calm, letting it approach into the perfect shooting range, waiting for the right moment. I wasn't in a hurry, not trembling, my breath steady. My fingers smoothly pulled the trigger. The boar dropped instantly, rolling down the slope. The hunt continued. I crouched behind a thick bush, aiming my rifle at a path frequently used by the wild boars. Just as expected, a dark figure appeared. As it emerged from the underbrush, my bullet found its mark, ending the destructive boar's life right there. Before heading back, we checked the GPS and saw the signal of the dogs converging at a single point. Their barking filled the forest. We quickly approached, and the scene unfolded, the last boar surrounded by our brave dogs. I locked my scope on the boar and squeezed the trigger. The final shot rang out, clean and sharp, sealing the end of a long, tense hunting day.